get clients comfortable with doing exchanges and how we can stretch out timelines to make it stress-free. Because if a client does a 1031 with you and it's like the most stressful thing in the world, then they're never going to do it again.
Welcome back to the CashFlow podcast, the podcast where we talk about turning properties into profits. I'm your host, Jason Yoss, and today I have a special guest, Carson Trujillo. Carson, good to see you, man.
You too, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, brother. Before we get started, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors. First, Daniel's Plumbing, covering Orange County, San Diego, LA, and the Inland Empire. And I also want to give a shout out to Rainforest Heating and Air, covering Phoenix and all of Maricopa County. We couldn't do this without your support. Now, Carson, President, Whitewater Commercial Real Estate, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pumped to be here.
Yeah, man, I've been looking forward to having you on for a while. I think we talked before. I've seen your brother and a lot of his work out in Phoenix, and but I've also seen you crushing it out here. And just recently, you opened the new firm. Talk to me about the journey.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could start from the beginning. I'll make it quick, but the journey started in Kentucky. That's where I'm from. Finished up college, University of Kentucky. I'm actually going back there this weekend for a football game, so
Love it.
Amped about that. Haven't been back in
nice.
like 3 years. But yeah, finished school there. Wanted to move to California. Never been here before. Just had this like wild dream of living on the beach, either like LA or San Diego. And then me and two of my buddies moved out here, made our way down to San Diego, and yeah, the rest is history. You know, that was in 2013.
And you've been in the real estate space for just over a decade. You've been with big firm like Marcus before you opened Whitewater.
Sure.
Why commercial management? Why not Tom and Susie's First Home or luxury, $1 million, places on the beach? Why the apartment and commercial space?
That's a great question. Yeah, when I finally got out to San Diego, I had to do a lot of soul searching about what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do sales, but I didn't know what I wanted to sell. Because I had some sales classes in college and stuff, and I loved it. So then I started like looking at real estate prices out here, doing that soul searching I was talking about, and then decided, hey, real estate values are really high in San Diego. Like this is a big opportunity. I could do something here. So back to your question, residential versus commercial, I didn't know what I was going to do. And it was just really right place, right time. And I met someone who worked in commercial. And that guy told me, you should look into commercial. It's more business minded. You don't have to do open houses and stuff like that. And you don't
right, open houses on a weekend.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. And so that's how it happened. I actually didn't think I was going to do commercial. I thought I was getting my license, thought I was going to do residential. And then I just met someone and he made some introductions. And yeah, that's how I ended up at the first company I worked at for 10 years.
And when you talk about what you're doing now, it's more than just commercial and apartments, right? You guys are doing development as well. What sparked the ability to add that into your toolbox? Sure.
Yeah, great question. So that was another thing, kind of right place, right time. Met someone and the relationship kind of took off, and we were just brainstorming and talking, and we thought we could do something special and do something more than traditional brokerages were offering, and like just sales. Because the company I was at, it's all it was sales, and they couldn't offer anything else. Like if you needed a architect or developer or contractor or whatever, it's like, hey, I can refer you to a few people, but we don't do that, right? And now we're becoming a vertically integrated company. Where we have everything under one roof. So we have management, development, architect. We have an architect team that's in our office, not part of Whitewater, but it's like our favorite architect. Him and his company, they're there. So yeah, we're just kind of having it all in one roof.
It's great. That's great for clients. So, on the journey, we talk a lot about networking or mentorship. Were there specific people that you look to kind of help you on that along the way? I mean, again, making that decision to get into commercial and then taking that leap into starting your own firm, which with a new baby, you must not be sleeping a lot. Talk to me about that journey. Was there anybody specific that helped with that?
Sure. Yeah, there was a number of people. So the guy that introduced me to commercial real estate and got me interested in the first place, once I got into it, I I really just reached out. I looked at, okay, who are the top performers in my space,
Right.
and I reached out to them, and I was just like, hey, like, what, like you're killing it. Like, I just see like deal closing, closing, closing. And I was like, what are you doing? You know?
Right.
So I guess it was just that not being afraid to like approach people and talk to them. And I didn't know anybody when I moved to San Diego, right? I
Sure.
knew nobody, not a single person. So like I had to get out there and network and talk to people. So yeah, I had some really who I would say are the best in the country in the brokerage business became my mentors, and it was just kind of like at first me saying like, "What are you doing? Like you're crushing it." Just kind of giving them a compliment, and then it was we kind of started building the relationship from there, and then they were like, you know, hey, I'll be your, you know, if you're looking for a mentor, like I'll do it if you promise me that you will do everything that I say.
Right.
And one of my mentors in Phoenix, actually, Steve, he was like, you got to make me two promises. One, you do what I say and you don't question it, right?
Right.
And two, that you'll pass it along to other people in the future, you know. And I mean, there was no benefit to him. He didn't, besides just helping me, you know.
Right. People tend to be receptive when the person they're helping is actually grinding and doing the work.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to lend out their time and energy to help somebody and then see them just fuck off, for a lack of a better term.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say next. Like he was like, if you fuck around and you don't hit your goals that you set with me, then I'm done. You're dead to me. I'll never talk to you again.
You're dead to me.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I guess let's go. You know.
And now having your own shop at Whitewater, what is that real estate philosophy that you're imparting, not just to your clients, but to your the people on staff and the other agents in the office?
Yeah, so we have this added value as a company, right, where we can offer all these different services. My focus in my company, Whitewater Commercial Real Estate, we have Whitewater Development, Commercial Real Estate, the management company, and all that stuff. But my focus is Whitewater Commercial Real Estate, which is the brokerage. So we have that we could offer clients. All of the agents in our office are now growing all their knowledge in these other spaces besides just brokerage, which is huge, and it makes them a much more impactful broker. Right. And then the other thing I think the biggest thing that's going to help the people in my office grow and grow their net worth and make their retirement and all that stuff is investing in real estate. Right. That was one thing that you get into brokerage and you just sell and you can sell and kind of teach people how to invest, right, or sell them properties, but then you don't really know how to invest yourself, and no one's really teaching you that.
You forget to do it. You do yourself what you're teaching everybody else
to
do.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you kind of like I know I got caught in a phase where I was like I'm like all I'm focused on is being like the best broker, and I don't even have time for anything else. I don't have time to go invest in a property, you know. So that's one thing I want to make sure that everyone in my office, if they choose to, which I'm sure they all will, invest in real estate themselves.
Growing their own portfolio.
And grow that because there's so many benefits to owning real estate, you know.
With the huge amount of experience that you have, your partner, Matt Holden, and some of the top players in your office, are you recruiting young agents and are you giving them that same mentality? Look, if you do what I say and you put in the hard work, you're going to be successful. And if you don't, like, I don't have time. What's your approach with these young agents?
100%. Yeah. I've always been a quality people over quantity, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I'd rather be very selective about who we hire than hire a bunch of people and just say, hey, like, you know, let's see, like, go out there, whoever makes it, you know?
Right.
So for sure, we're spending a lot of time with new people that we're hiring. Yes, we are hiring new agents and also experienced agents. We want to keep growing the company, and we have a big office and room to grow.
I love to hear that, especially as we talked about off camera, this market. Hey, there's always a good time to get in. You know, whether you're selling, whether you're up-legging, whether you got cash and are bringing off the sidelines, there's always a good time. And so it's great to have knowledgeable agents helping you through those transactions. Well, let's talk about the strategy that you're bringing to the table for your transactions. Like, what sets you up to be successful when it comes to, you know, listing apartments and being in the apartment space?
Sure. Yeah. So our track record is huge, right? We have a ton of experience. And then we're building up our inventory, right? And deals that we're selling. So that's very important. Like, you don't want to go work with someone who only has like one listing or no listings. Even if they've sold a bunch of stuff, they're not in the market, you know?
Sure.
Because the way that we're, you know, our focus is seller representation. but we're finding our buyers because we have so many active deals in the market. Someone calls us about one deal. Oh, this deal doesn't work for you. Well, I have 5 others. Look at these, and we're like kind of redirecting all this traffic that's incoming to us. So that's huge. One thing that's super, super important to me is marketing and marketing quality. So, it's my mission to make sure that we have the best quality marketing out of any brokerage in San Diego.
What does that look like when you say quality marketing? Like, painting that picture of what that looks like from an apartment perspective.
Sure. Yeah. So for every deal that we sell, we come up with an offering memorandum, which is just like a marketing package. I'm sure you know what that is. For those people that don't know, but so we invest a lot of money in that. It's professional photo, video, and graphic design, and I spend a lot of time personally making sure that all that stuff is super tight. The highlights and everything, description, everything is explained the right way. The underwriting is correct, because because we do that, like that develops your reputation too.
Yeah.
And you have these people, like if you have bad marketing or your underwriting's not right, well then like someone sees another deal from you and like, oh, like this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like I don't like trust any of his numbers or whatever.
Underwriting a deal is huge. Will you take a second to kind of explain to those who may not be deep into the industry what it means to underwrite an apartment or underwrite a deal?
Yeah, so we take the income and expense, and then we come up with the net operating income, cap rate, GRM, all those numbers right there, and then that's how we arrive at a value.
And a lot of times when you refer to people having their underwriting be off, like not very good, is this usually because they're projecting numbers that don't make any sense? They're not doing their due diligence and pulling all the details like pro formas from a property and then just throw numbers together and put it on page and it doesn't pencil in real life.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of real estate agents
Fudgery.
and brokers, and in a good market, like anybody can have success doing real estate sales, right? So yeah, it's just people just throw whatever together, put it on the MLS, and light a candle and say a prayer. But they're gonna get a paycheck, So I've built my business and my team's business around how do we be the best and how do we get the best results for our clients, seller focused. But we also do a lot of 1031 exchanges, so trading as well and being able to evaluate deals and all that stuff. So
let's talk a little bit about 1031 exchange and why that's been a huge bonus to your business and a niche. Not a lot of people know how to actually conduct a 1031, especially brokers. They're like, well, just call the intermediary. They don't know much. How are you incorporating in their business and for your clients?
Well, I doing a 1031 is scary for a lot of people, because you have deadlines you have to meet set by the IRS, and if you don't meet those deadlines, if you're late by like one day, well, you're paying capital gains taxes on, it's massive, right? 40% of your gain or 50% of your gain.
Right.
So we've mastered the 1031 exchange process, know it like the back of our hand. Right, so we can really get clients comfortable with doing exchanges and how we can stretch out timelines to make it stress-free. Because if a client does a 1031 with you and it's like the most stressful thing in the world, then they're never going to do it again. So we have to, we always say like we want to get you the best results with the least amount of headache, right? So we've mastered the process of doing that, and then also inventory-wise, and I've done deals all over the country, not listed deals, but we sell your apartments here, and then we can trade you to anywhere in the country.
Right.
And we do a lot of apartment trades into single-tenant net lease, like McDonald's, Starbucks. We just closed a Caliber Collision about a week ago, auto body center.
Nice.
That was in Virginia. So those are really great for owners that are looking to retire from apartments, and it's very passive. You just get a check in the mail every month, and very hands off, no maintenance, no management. You know exactly the cash flow you're going to get for the next like 15 years. It's already set, and there's no expense, so it's never going to change.
It's like a real estate annuity, basically, right?
It is, and the best thing about it is you can 1031 into it out of apartments, awesome. Like-kind exchange, investment real estate. So
a lot of people don't understand that like-kind exchange is kind of a very broad term, and like you said, transferring into a Caliber Collision Center where you're getting that set money every month, and you don't have to get in the weeds on management. That's a big win for your client.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Carson, about some case studies, some wins. You had told me that one of the most memorable deals or like list of transaction you did was a portfolio liquidation. Talk to me about that, how you were able to earn that trust and how you were able to create success for that portfolio.
Sure, yeah. So first off, earning the trust, I would say back to what we were talking about earlier, the quality of marketing, having the best marketing, the best research, all that stuff. There was a client that just recognized how detail-oriented I was. And this guy was like, at the time, this was like 6 years ago. This guy was like one of the most active private client apartment, like flippers in San Diego. So he just noticed that about me, and that I really cared. I think he liked the fact that I was from Kentucky. He just
Nice.
thought I was like a hard worker, right? And which is true. So gave me a shot on a deal, and then we performed really well on that first one, and then ended up liquidating a portfolio for him. But they were all individual. It was actually 11 buildings, and they were all individual sales. So there was a strategy behind it that we had, and how to achieve the best pricing, which one to list first to achieve the best pricing overall over the entire portfolio. It was about over 2 years.
Can you talk about what that strategy was when it comes to, hey, you've got 11 buildings, 11 apartments that you have to unload? Like, what goes into that strategy? You just shed us a little bit of insight behind the curtain on that.
Sure. Yeah. So what we did is we listed the best property first.
Okay.
And all these properties were very similar in finishes. They kind of all looked the same. He did the same kind of style on all of them. He had his like signature look. So we listed the best property first to try and to achieve like the highest pricing, and then we sold like the worst property last. But then we had set all these comps for ourselves, right? So we were kind of
drove it up.
Yeah, we were making the market for ourselves, right? Wow. So that's kind of what we did to.
That's huge.
To make it happen.
You literally set the market for the lower properties by stretching it through the better properties.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a winner.
Yeah. And other clients too, they always say like brokers are the ones that make the market, right? I mean, we're kind of like advising our clients and setting the prices and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I believe that it's true, you know.
And I want to circle back to that because I do think knowing the market and a broker has a huge impact on it. But just to close this out, so when you sold all these off, did you upsell or did you 1031 into like another annuity or another bigger property, or how did you end it out?
Yeah, this guy, it was a syndication. So his syndication was set up to just cash out his investor, so there was no 1031 involved on that side.
Got it. And do they come back and say, okay, let's reinvest in, let's do this again, or they were done? And you know, how do you keep clients like that when you're selling off a portfolio? How do you get them to return, or is it just word of mouth that, look, Carson and his crew can definitely take this down?
Yeah. This client, he's kind of come back, but this was at a time when the market. This was like 5 years ago. The market was firing off, right? And this client hasn't seen that opportunity to get back in yet. Maybe he's smarter than the rest of us, you know?
Right.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like a client for life, and yeah, we do talk about getting back into the market, doing more deals. So that'll probably happen sometime in the near future.
Let me shift to maybe the opposite direction. When you're helping a client build their portfolio through trading up, talk to me about some of those. I know we talked about maybe starting in an area that's not perfect in San Diego and then getting value and flipping that into maybe better markets.
Sure. Yeah. No. I think that can be good depending on the timing of the market, right? Like if you get something in if you bought something in not a good area a couple years ago, you're probably hurting right now because the market's gone down, and when the market goes down, the C markets go down first and they go down the worst, right? Yep. But definitely start small and then start trading up. Start small, buy something, add value to it, and then you can keep trading up for sure.
Is that the biggest win, by adding value to something that you buy initially? Like, for example, you talked to me about your Talmadge deal. Does it matter? You can't just buy and hold. You got to find something that you can add some value to the initial property, and then every time you're trading up, try to find something that you could add more value. Using that as an example.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to just wait forever. You know? I mean, real estate's. I think we all know, like real estate in the long run, it always goes up. Right. You know. But yeah, if you want to do it quickly, you got to add value and increase the value that way by doing renovations or adding units and all that stuff.
When you had that upsell into that Hillcrest property, like what about that property did you see that you knew was going to be able to make a lot of upside for that client. I think we talked about
Sure.
bifurcation or.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I don't think we kind of gave the full. We didn't even give like the full story on how that deal went.
Let's
That's
hear
all.
it. Tell
Yeah.
me. Tell me.
So that was a great deal story, and a client that I'm still working with and doing trades with right now. And this was also like 5 or 6 years ago. This client, they sold a house in 7 units in Talmadge, which I would say is like a C plus neighborhood, right? And they sold the house. Well, we did a reverse exchange on both of them.
Okay.
So we identified the property first that they wanted to buy because they're kind of risk adverse. They were worried about 1031 exchange. They didn't want to sell something and then be limited on time to buy something.
Right. Have that small window, like you got to find it now.
Yeah, and they had the capital and everything to do a reverse exchange. So we found them in Hillcrest, a 12 unit, and then it had a duplex house on a development. It's like a development lot because there's a big lot right next to it, but it was being sold together.
Okay.
This is a long-term ownership. This guy inherited the property. That's why they were selling, and it was really run down. So much better area than what they were in.
Sure.
We're talking 7 and a house, so like 8 units into 14 units,
Wow.
right, in a much better area. So we put the deal under contract that they were going to buy, listed other properties for sale, closed on the deal they were going to buy, closed on the other ones about 30 days later. And then that was the reverse exchange, and that's kind of where the funds came from for that property. Yeah, and now they fully renovated the 12 units. They split they did an official lot split for the duplex and the development lot, and then we'll sell those off separately. Sell the development lot to the developer and the apartments to just a retail kind of buyer.
Nice. So just being able to do a reverse 1031 and first find the perfect property, help them be able to make this transaction complete and have a better outcome. Like, what if they would have done it the front way? What if they would have, sold the Talmadge property first and were out looking? Do you think they could have found the same type of deal?
I think so. Yeah. And I think that goes back to like us being like our knowledge and experience in 1031 exchanges.
Right.
We could have made it happen. We know the timelines. We know how to kind of work with the timelines and all that stuff to make sure we're lining everything up. But it's not easy. You gotta really be grinding. And when I have a client in a 1031, I mean, that's part of, it's like, that's another value add of what we do versus maybe other agents. Like they want to sell your building and like, that's it. See you later.
Right.
Like we take you through the whole process. So yeah, if I have a client in a 1031 exchange and we don't have the property they're buying yet, like I'm not sleeping,
We're
man.
hustling until we find it.
I'm worried. Like I'm thinking about it every single morning when I wake up.
Is it a huge percentage of the clients that you work with are involved in some kind of trade, or other than liquidation, is that normally what you see?
No, I would say us. It's like 50-50.
50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk a little bit about something you brought up, and it's what sets the broker apart, specifically on market knowledge. You had stated, hey, brokers in the apartment space specifically, they're really setting the bar in terms of, what a property will sell for. Talk to me about how you get that granular in a submarket.
For sure. No, that's a great question. And because a lot of people, they're not specialized, right? So I think being specialized is extremely important. So like when I started, it was just 2 zip codes, 92104, 92116.
I love it.
So that was it. That was the only place I worked. It's the only place I called. Right now we've expanded the company with multiple brokers, but they all have their own sub-market that they specialize in.
Every street and every turn is a different property, a different thing going on for sure.
Yeah, you can't be the master. You can't be the master of every sub-market in San Diego. It's just too big, And then if you're the person doing all the deals in this sub-market, you start getting market share, then you're going to get more. They're like, oh, we got to work with Jason. Like he sells all the deals here. He's got even if we don't like him, we still got to work with him.
They all love me. Thank you. I love how you lay that out. I think it's super important because what I've noticed, and you tell me if it's different, in the residential real estate side of the house, they have the MLS, and that's where 90-80% of your deals are. In the apartment side of the house, I feel like every deal I see is like off market, just not thrown on LoopNet. And so if you aren't working with a broker who knows that market, who knows how you're going to price it or if you're
Yeah.
even going to get it sold.
Yeah.
So how are you setting the comps and how are you setting up your client for success when you price a property out?
Sure. Yeah, I would say even like right now, again, like when the market's hot and you're like boom, 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 it's red hot, it's going up.
Light the candle and pray.
Well, yeah, and everybody, it'll work out. You know, you could overprice a deal and like, okay, well, like you have it listed for 3 months. Oh, well, now the market caught up to it. It's not
Sure.
overpriced anymore, right? But in a market like today, that's a very kind of up and down, hot and cold market.
Sure.
You really got to know. You really got to know what return buyers are willing to accept and where the market is, and you can't go off the comps because
Right.
6 months ago or even 3 months ago is not the same market that we're in today. So the only way to know that is to be extremely active in the market. You have listings, you have deals under contract. That's because no one knows what you have your deal under contract for besides you.
Yep.
So you have that knowledge and you kind of your fingers on the pulse of the market, right, to be able to advise your client in the right direction.
That intimate knowledge is so important, as you talked about. Let's close it up with our last couple minutes of challenges in your space. In today, again, you said the market is kind of all over the place a little bit. What's the biggest challenge that your clients are facing today in this space?
The biggest challenge that they're facing is just getting the numbers to work, right?
Yeah.
With financing and construction costs way up and insurance costs way up. So like people want to buy, like investors, syndicators, they want to buy these older assets, but it's just a lot more difficult to make the numbers work.
Is it hard to get the expectations to meet the actual reality?
Yeah, that too, because sellers are seeing, oh, well, what about my neighbor sold their property last year for $400,000 a door? Why is it only worth $325 today?
Right.
So that's tough managing those expectations, but then also like helping our clients that are buying. How do they make better sense of the numbers?
Right.
Oh, maybe there's something that you're not considering here. Let me see your underwriting. So we do that too. I always tell buyers, like, send me your underwriting. It's just between us two, and let me see if I can help you get to a better number, make more sense of this deal.
If you can sharpen their pencil a little bit, it does make things pan out a little better. Last question as we wrap up here, Carson. If I rolled out the DeLorean, if I got you in the time machine and sent you back 10 years and, you could go back and talk to baby Carson and say, hey, now you're in the real estate space. Here's what you need to do for success. What would you tell yourself?
I think I did everything as far as like working really hard and networking. I did all that correctly. But the one thing that I kind of mentioned earlier was not getting invested in real estate earlier. Had a bunch of money sitting in my bank account because I was working really hard, but I didn't feel like I had the time to go invest. Right. And if I would have, my net worth would be a lot higher now, and there's so many, like we said, there's so many more benefits to owning real estate than just like the cash flow, right? So that would have helped me tremendously.
You're an expert in your space. You're recognized widely. It isn't just me. I mean, I'm a property manager. I see you everywhere, especially in the San Diego space. But telling the audience and looking back saying like, look, you also got to spend time to put your expertise to work for your own portfolio. Huge advice. Carson, thank you so much for being here and joining us. I enjoyed having you on the pod, and I appreciate all you contributed.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And for everybody else out there, thank you for tuning in to the CashFlow podcast. Again, the podcast where we talk about turning properties into profits. We'll see you next week.